बच्चे को ढूंढो, कहाँ है, किस जेल में? अगर कोई बच्चे सिक्योरिटी फोर्स ने उठाया, बीएसएफ ने उठाया, आर्मी ने उठाया, टास्क फोर्स ने उठाया, सिलेंडर मिल्टन ने, उनको पूछो कहाँ है?
Mass graves, disappearances.
Wherever there are disappearances, there are mass graveyards.
Fake encounters.
माँ बाप देखते हैं, ये अभी हमारा बेटा आएगा। अच्छा, ये बेचारा कब्र काट रहा है, उनको वो तरह से उधर बैठे हैं। अल्लाह मालिक का काम किस फूट कंबर फूट में।
Saga of once known paradise on earth now shakes under heavy military presence. A tale of continued sufferings and conflict. In December 2009, International People's Tribunal on Kashmir, or IPTK, presented detailed report of unmarked and mass graves in Kashmir. Details sent shockwaves across Kashmir. Spanning over 3 years of research, report titled Buried Evidence talks about mass graves in Kupwara, Baramulla and Bandipora districts in northern Kashmir.
In this report, we had conducted our research in 55 villages of North Kashmir, and these were 62 graveyards, and we had found 2,700 graves, out of which 2,373 were unmarked graves, and then there were 42 graves which were mass graves as well.
It was the earthquake of 2005 which spilled beans. Civil society groups who went to worst affected northern region of Kashmir to provide immediate relief to people came to know about existence of unknown, unmarked and mass graves through locals.
People started sharing their stories of pain and stories of tyranny which they have suffered at the hands of the Indian Army.
Came to know that how the dead bodies were thrown into the river Jhelum earlier in 90. And then the people told that how the army and the police are bringing the bodies and telling people to bury them.
After the IPTK report, state's official body State Human Rights Commission or SHRC acknowledged through its investigation that such graves do exist.
2,730 persons are found dead in different graveyards. Those were unmarked.
This issue of unknown, unmarked and mass graves was widely reported by media.
As far as I am concerned as a journalist, I think the story about unmarked and mass graves is perhaps the biggest and the most important story to have come out from Kashmir in the last 21 years. And it's a very, very grave issue.
Unknown and mass graves are scattered over various places in northern Kashmir. One such graveyard at Binyar Sahal contains near about 300 bodies.
कफन और जनाजे की हाजत नहीं, नज़ारा मिले जिसको दीदार का, किस चीज़ की चीज़।
Ata Muhammad Khan, caretaker of this graveyard, has buried more than 200 bodies. The youngest among them, a 6-month-old baby.
तो उसके बच्चे की माँ, बच्चा साथ था, जब आर्मी उसको नजदीक हो गई तो उसने बच्चा फेंक दिया, वहाँ गोली चलती थी, तो और क्या पता कहाँ गई, तो बच्ची नीचे सड़क पर पड़ी थी, तो कहाँ से खून आया था, यहाँ दफन कर दिया हमने।
The army and police used to hand our bodies to him, saying these are of foreign militants.
हम पूछते भाई ये कहाँ से लाया, क्या हुआ, कहा ये मिलिटेंट है, अफगानी है। तो सादों में मारा ये, तब से फिर शुरू हो गया काम, फिर यहाँ आना शुरू हो गया।
Mostly, he says, police used to come during night to hand over bodies. 70-year-old Ata Muhammad is still struggling to come to terms what he has witnessed.
जब आँख लगती है तभी ये आ जाते हैं, नींद उखड़ जाती है, नींद उखड़ जाती है। जब नींद उखड़ गई थी शायद पर असर पड़ता है।
Human rights defenders say mass graves are not confined to northern region only, but are present everywhere in Kashmir. Reports of mass graves in Poonch, Rajouri and other parts of Jammu and Kashmir as well have sent alarm bells ringing.
Separate petition has been filed in respect of Poonch Rajouri. Recently, one more application from Banal has been preferred in this commission. We have taken cognizance. We have sought report.
Unknown and unmarked graves are present in Srinagar as well. One such grave is at City Centre, adjacent to footbridge at Lal Chowk, and many at Central Martyrs Graveyard in downtown Srinagar. Many people in Kashmir believe that those persons who got disappeared after being picked by various agencies, some of them may have landed in these unmarked and mass graves.
We believe that there is a connection between the disappearance and the graves. Yeah.
Human rights organizations say subjecting people to enforced disappearance amounts to crime against humanity and is inexcusable under all circumstances.
There is no law in India as well which allows people to be disappeared, even if they are militants.
Observers say phenomena of disappearances and mass graves in Kashmir are owing to the conflict in Kashmir, which has its roots in 1947, when after the end of autocratic Dogra rule in Kashmir, India and Pakistan fought war over it.
As soon as they landed on airport on their way to Srinagar, they picked up so many innocents and killed them. And this is mentioned even in the accounts of that war by brigadiers of Indian Army.
Thereafter, Kashmir issues went to United Nations, which passed various resolutions on it. According to these resolutions, Kashmir is a disputed territory whose people have to exercise their rights through a free and fair plebiscite under United Nations. Then Indian Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, in his visit to Kashmir, promised self-determination to Kashmiris, a promise which is yet to be fulfilled. Kashmir issue continues to remain bone of contention between India and Pakistan, with no end to sufferings of Kashmiris. In August 1988, activists belonging to Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front detonated 2 bombs in the dead of the night near city centre Lal Chowk. The message was loud and clear: armored insurgency had begun. Soon the euphoria of gun overwhelmed the streets of Kashmir. People came on streets in large numbers to what they call reminding India of her promise of plebiscite in Kashmir.
people of Jammu and Kashmir have been questioning the occupation of Indian state here, and people of Jammu and Kashmir have been demanding right of self-determination.
India responded by deploying 500,000 troops in Kashmir to crush the armed rebellion. Arbitrary arrests, disappearances, torture, and killings became order of the day.
Disappearance is related with the torture. In the camps, they are taking the people, they torture them, and then they bury them, right?
Human rights organizations say after their investigation, many graves were found to contain more than 2 bodies. In one such grave at Kalarus Kupwara, 17 human skeletons were found. Many of exhumations done over few years, which government had claimed to be of foreign militants, later turned out to be of civilians killed in fake encounters. Wali Khan of Kupwara is one among many of them, whose son Farooq Ahmad Khan, who worked as baker in Srinagar, got disappeared. Later claimed to be as foreign militant, killed in an encounter at Ishpur Nishat by border security force.
लड़का छन सेहत के हैं गुजराम लड़का न फुट कंबर फुट में
Jana Begum is a tragic example of families of disappeared persons. One after the another, her 4 sons got disappeared. 2 of them were found to be at unmarked graves at Ragipura through police records. Shown to be as of foreign militants, 2 are yet untraced.
ढूंढया कोई ज्यादा के नहीं छोड़ा आए थाने बिच भी
फिर और कहाँ गए
जंगले बिच भी कोई एरिया कपड़े थे डर से भी
कभी कहीं से कोई पता है
कुछ कख नहीं इतना ही पता है खास कुछ पता नहीं
Human rights defenders say government policy of offering incentives to force personnel may be a reason behind such fake encounters.
For killing a Kashmiri militant, a minimum reward of 1 lakh rupees is offered to the armed forces personnel. For killing a foreign militant, they are offered 3 lakh rupees. And because there is a high incentive in killing a foreign militant, therefore it could be one of the reasons why a lot of local civilians, maybe local militants also, were killed and branded as foreign militant.
In May 2010, 3 bodies were exhumed at Kalarus graveyard. Home Army had claimed to be as foreign militants killed during infiltration bid at Mathil near LOC. They turned out to be as local civilians, namely Shahzad Ahmad, Riaz Ahmad and Mohammad Shafi, all belonging to Nadihal village of Baramulla. Igniting protests across Kashmir, protests intensified after the killing of a 17-year-old student on June 11, bringing Kashmir to halt for 6 months, resulting in killing of 116 persons at the hands of police and force personnel. Yet no one was punished owing to the impunity which security forces enjoy under various legislations.
More than 700,000 security forces here, they have the legal impunity. But more important is that the moral impunity which they are getting from the Indian civil society, because nobody is questioning them. Here people cannot question, they are suppressed. Here people are suffocated. They are the military jackboot.
State government earlier indicated of establishing Truth and Reconciliation Commission to get to know about fate of disappeared and those buried in unmarked graves.
हम भी जानना चाहते हैं इन कब्रों में किसको लिटाया गया है.
But civil society groups rejected such suggestion.
Well, reconciliation means when a sufferer is asked to forget the past and start afresh. I think it is not possible. I am not ready for that. I am not ready to forgive the perpetrators who raped Kashmiri women, who killed innocent people. And when Chief Minister talks of reconciliation, it is another form of impunity which he wants to give to the armed forces.
Civil society groups and SHRC have asked government for DNA profiling of such graves with that of relatives of disappeared.
They have asked the government to do the DNA test, physical description, profile, and dental examination, distance to medical and this characteristic is fingerprint, carbon dating, arsenic, pathology, etc.
DNA test koruk temo to pas solibor hobuk ne toruk temo kihinje na me hobuk kihinje.
The issue of unmarked and mass graves attracted international media attention, was reported by many international media organizations, though it was downplayed by Indian media.
I think that is perhaps because the Indian media has always reported Kashmir through a nationalist lens, and that's where the context gets killed and mutilated most of the time.
Observers say mass graves constitute war crimes and must be investigated impartially through some credible international investigation agency, as was done in many cases where mass graves existed.
Bosnia is an example, and even the president of Serbia is being tried for the same crimes because so many Muslims over there were killed and the United Nations established a war crime tribunal. We had similar examples in context of Second World War in the form of Tokyo Tribunal, in the form of Nuremberg Tribunal.
Specifically, the discovery of 940 graves in 18 villages of Uri district alone in Indian-held Kashmir.
Mass grave issue has been a subject of debate at UN, and even European Union Parliament passed resolutions on it, calling on Indian government to investigate the matter. But so far, no investigation has been done. People believe to expect justice from the system in Kashmir seems difficult owing to the current geopolitical situation.
Whether these graves will be identified, number second, whether the perpetrator will be identified, third, whether the perpetrator will be punished, which is very, very unlikely.
Human rights activists say they faced lot of problems during their investigation, and in fact assassination attempt was made on leading human rights defender Parvez Imroz.
We are walking on the minefield, once we are taking up this issue.
Human rights defenders say they will continue their efforts to engage global civil society so as to, what they say, question the Indian state for its actions in Kashmir.